I think it's done. It's a done deal. It's gone. The numbers are too big, and I think the groundswell were quite obvious. The opposition had invested very heavily in the monitoring of the constituencies, the polling booths. There were polling agents virtually at every polling station, and there was also the parallel voting tabulation thing, which was being done by a number of NGOs and international organizations, and also the opposition itself.
Yeah. Will it not depend on what the observers say? Because there has been violence. There have been reports of some discrepancies. Could the current president try and use their reports, or do you really think it's a done deal?
I think it's a done deal. There were two reports yesterday from the observers, one by the AU, a very detailed one, the input of which was to say that the elections were largely free and fair and well organized. And the EU was, in fact, a very shorter statement, but one warning the state against any attempt to try and allege that the elections were not free and fair.
Yeah. And what about the military? Our earlier correspondent said many Zambians are scared of the military. Would they readily accept an opposition leader coming in?
Yes, I think basically the Zambian population was justified in fearing, once the army was deployed, learning as they have from the neighboring country down across the Zambezi, where the army has been in elections over the last 20 years very partisan. I think in the Zambian situation, the army, being an army which is in the barracks, has not been politically obtrusive, and reports are that in fact many of the army personnel and the commanders were not happy about having been deployed. And certainly the indication that they will not go against the will of the people.
Which is good news, but do you expect any post-election violence, given what we've seen prior to the polls?
No, I don't think so. I think the winning candidate has made it very clear. He's issued a statement this afternoon asking his supporters to be calm and calling for unity. In fact, we are having a special policy dialogue on Tuesday, the 17th, 5:30, with the Zambian panel to discuss the elections, to what extent the pertinent observations about the national situation in Zambia, but more important about lessons for SADC region and beyond.
Yeah.
I think Zambia, second time round, have shown us how it can be done. It's great. It's great news, I think. Great news for democracy, great news for Zambia. Yes.
What about Mr. Hichilema himself? Is he good for Zambia? What can you tell us about the opposition leader who will now be president?
Yes, this is his sixth try at the election. He has been persistent, but he's still a young man. He's 49 years old. Yes, I think he offers hope similar to that which we saw under Manawasa. Manawasa was perhaps the last very progressive, very organized, very technocratic, and the hints is that Hichilema will be pursuing the same kind of agenda to bring Zambians together, but more important, which is a major challenge in our region, to technocratize government, to get people of ability in the right places and turn around the economy. And this is very important.
So you put technocrats in positions where skills are required rather than political players. This is important because it's something that South Africa is grappling with.
Yes, I think South Africa, all of us have to go that way. It's long overdue. The days of leave politics to the politicians in the constituencies. I mean, Kenya showed us how that is done. That, in fact, members of parliament cannot be ministers in cabinet. They should be based in the constituencies. And it gives the president the latitude to choose as members of his cabinet people from the wider society, taking into account skill and suitability to the task.
All right, so saying that the rise of Hakainde Hichilema is good news for Zambia. Thank you very much, political analyst Professor Ibbo